Okay, Scott, somebody wants to rent. They're coming to Oahu, whether they're coming for long-term or short-term. They can't find rentals easily because no one's renting to them. The landlords aren't even calling them back. What's your recommendation on what do I need to do to find a place to rent on Oahu? A lot of people ask you this question, Scott. So here's your chance to kind of give your answer to everybody.
Yeah, I actually a little bit shocked at that because we don't have all the tourists here, and there's a lot of units that are kind of sitting empty. So that doesn't go with conventional wisdom and what I would expect right now. I take it back one step and I would say, look, if you're looking at moving here and you know exactly, you're very familiar with the islands, you know exactly where you want to be, either what building, what neighborhood, come and do the short-term rental. Otherwise, if you're not that familiar, come and you either do a longer term rental, 6 months, or you get into a shorter term rental, say Waikiki, and then rent in another area. So you can start to get familiar with the culture, the area that you would want to be, commute times, things such as that. Do that first. The move is difficult to begin with to come over here. Then from the rental side, I mean, if you're looking at shorter term, Airbnb and VRBO, they're out there. There's hotel occupancy right now is at 25%. That means the VRBO Airbnb rental market is going to be in that same category. We don't have all the tourists over here right now. So the shorter term vacation rental units, shorter term, say month to month, you can even negotiate on those, should be available. If you have pets, it gets significantly more complicated. And this is a rabies-free state, so which Heidi can talk about. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to do prior to coming here for your pet if you don't want your pet to be quarantined. And the shorter term rentals typically don't allow the pets for that in the shorter term. So if you're looking at renting for 5 months in some place, I'd say, hey, maybe bump it up to 6, 9 months, and you could potentially get a lower rent, but it's spread out over a longer period of time. You're going to have a little more success. The longer the period of time, the more likelihood they're going to allow pets, and you'll find more success. And Zillow.com is a great place for rentals. They are changing to a fee for service. They're getting rid of the free portion on that. So that may change some. Craigslist, you got to be careful with because of the scams. Facebook Marketplace is another place. But if you don't have a job right now, which I know someone was saying, hey, can I pay the rent up front? All of it. Technically, what you're allowed in Hawaii is deposit and first month's rent for the landlord to collect. They're not supposed to, by law, collect the whole thing up front. So that puts you, you're not, if you can get somebody to do that, that's fine, but you're not supposed to do that. And then on top of it, we do have a moratorium on evictions right now. So landlords are very particular in scrutinizing people on who they're going to rent to, because they don't want to get into a position where someone can't pay the rent all of a sudden. And if you don't have a job lined up, now you've got an uphill battle of trying to convince a landlord to rent to you, even though you have significant number of assets sitting there. They're not allowed to collect that whole month or that whole period of rent up front. And now they got to trust that you're going to get a job and that you're going to continue to pay rent.
Scott, what's your take on the general idea of, kind of leverage Airbnb in the Airbnb or vacation rentals, get a 1 month rent, use that as like your anchor to kind of get here. And then once you're here, you've got a month, you got 30 days, maybe 60 days. And then you could kind of like drive around, you could go through you could kind of get the local feel and find find the right place that you could potentially rent from, et cetera. What about that general approach? Again, the pets thing throws everything out the window. So Heidi, I want to hear what you say about that. But what about that general idea? Use Airbnb, use VRBO. I've also got corporate housing by owner. That's another source. It's like a VRBO, but use that for a month. Get a month, so it's easy. You get here, then you can start to look around. What about that general approach?
Yeah, I think that's a perfect approach to me. Is land, get here, get the move portion done, and you get into a place temporarily. You can start to get your feet on the ground a little bit, and with the empty units that are sitting down in Waikiki and whatnot, I think you got a better negotiation ability to be able to do that at a more affordable price. Some people don't want to do a double move though. So you either come and you try to have something set up for the longer term, that if you do that, you're moving at the end of that month into another place. And there is a little bit of a stress headache to that. but I love it because you get here, you get settled, the move part is done, you start to get your feet on the ground, and then you can start to explore and figure out where you do want to have that rental.
Yep. Yep.